Welcome to the Holistic Soul Podcast. I am your soulful guide, Ashley Tracey, and go grab a cozy warm drink. It's a little chilly here where I'm recording in Denver, Colorado. I've got my matcha with me this morning to fuel this talk, as today I'm kind of recording it on the day that Mercury stations retrograde, so let's see how it goes. But I really am excited to explore the week ahead. So this is the astrology for the week of December 18th through the 24th. And we're in holiday season, so hopefully you all are taking some time to connect with loved ones. And if you're spending it by yourself, connect within and just find gratitude and peace. And I mean, that's kind of the theme going inward that we're in right now, as we have Mercury retrograding in the sign of Capricorn. So as I mentioned in last week's talk, that when we have a Mercury retrograde, it is a time of reflection, right? What a perfect time of year to have everything align as we reflect on 2023 and approach the new year of 2024 with a different outlook, maybe an expanded perspective, and a lot of gratitude. So I know personally 2023 was a very interesting year for me. A lot of growth, some loss, some health challenges, but all in all, everything we experience is always aligned for our greatest good, even the struggles. So I think what we're really learning in life is to live more open-hearted and to trust the alignment of things, right? Trust in divine timing, trust that you're supported, trust that you're loved, and to really be able to experience joy. Okay, enough of that. Let's move forward. Okay, so we start the week on Monday, December 18th with the moon in the sign of Pisces. So a really dreamy moon, a really compassionate, empathetic moon. Pisces moon knows no boundaries. It is like a little sponge. For those of you who natally have a Pisces moon, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just pick up every thing in your environment, every emotion, every sensation. You really embody what you surround yourself with. So for us collectively, being careful to surround yourself with people and be in places that feel energizing and not draining. So be really conscious of what drains your energy and what lifts you up. And I actually love the energy of this Monday because we have Mercury, who is recently gone retrograde, making a trine to Jupiter, who is also retrograde in Taurus. So Capricorn and Taurus energy, they're both grounded. They're about practicality, very tangible. So anything you do today is really rooted in your conscious reality, but has a connection to Jupiter, to the vision for the future. And so this might be a time in which you're going back over some of the steps and structures you've created in this beginning portion of Mercury in Capricorn. And then while Jupiter has been in Taurus since May of this year, 2023, and will continue until the end of May 2024, we'll talk about Jupiter a little bit more going direct next week in the end of December. But right now he's still retrograde, and he has been for months. That's very common. And so it's like, what resources do you need? What might be missing for you to achieve the shifts in consciousness, the shifts in your goals and manifestation with that Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is about restructuring some things. And Taurus is leaning on the resources, typically the physical resources. Maybe that's space, maybe that's money, maybe that's nature, anything that that's tactile, right? That's earth energy. So it is a good time to go back and reevaluate, what do you have aligned and created physically, right? What structures are there to help you move forward? So a pretty practical day when we have, it's kind of a mix of practical, because if the moon's in Pisces, it's visionary, it's creative, it's spiritual, it's visionary in the sense of like getting lost in the daydream, right? Getting lost in the fantasy of it all. But then thankfully Capricorn and Taurus, Mercury and Jupiter are here to kind of help ground that energy. So it's a nice day of integration, because ultimately that's what it is. It's the mix of, and when working with my clients astrologically, it's how do we take the wisdom of the stars and integrate it here on Earth, because this is our curriculum, Earth School, right? We're here with our set of lessons to learn and different trials and tribulations to experience for a shared purpose of growth and evolution. So it's a nice day for integrative work. Okay. Next day, the moon, we start off the day, the moon in Pisces. Then we have a tiny little void moon period in the afternoon before the moon shifts into the sign of Aries. No major aspects on Tuesday the 19th other than the moon shifting signs. So we go from watery Pisces to very fiery Aries. Okay. So Aries energy being about taking the risks and being a little impulsive. That's the shadow side of Aries, okay? Aries likes to initiate. It likes to start something, sometimes without thinking about it. Just be like, oh, I'm passionate about that, I'm going to do it. A little word of caution during Mercury retrograde is we don't really want to start anything new if we can avoid it. Sometimes we can't, right? But it's about going back over what we've already started. One of the things with Aries energy, it's a cardinal fire sign. So all cardinal signs, we'll talk a little bit more about this on Thursday when we talk about the solstice. Cardinal signs are the start of the seasons. Aries is the start of spring in the northern hemisphere. And so it's about initiating. Cardinal signs initiate. And Aries is a cardinal fire sign, so it's initiating from the fire within. So what inspires us, right? What we feel building up within, that is just passion and drive. The ruler of Aries is Mars, so it's a lot about our drive, our will, right? So we might you're definitely going to feel the shift in energy on the 19th, where it goes from like this dreamy morning to this very active evening. So the moon is shifting into Aries around 4:00 Mountain Time. So adjust for your time zone. So trust me, you will energetically feel that shift, okay? Then on the 20th of December, we have the moon all day in the sign of Aries. So again, motivating, driven moon, a little impulsive, a little slightly aggressive. Maybe just watch out for that, because Aries can tend to be on that assertive side, right? Which is interesting because that same day we have Venus and Scorpio making an opposition to Uranus and Taurus. So our relational dynamics are a bit excitatory, and it's one of those days where Scorpio is a fixed sign. Taurus is also fixed. So they both are kind of set in their ways, but they both want like the shift and the dynamic. And so when Venus and Uranus oppose each other, there's this need for change. However, neither party wants to change. Okay. So they're like at this like standstill, because they both feel the desire to change, but do they really want to do the work that is required to make the change? And maybe on this day they do. Maybe that need really coming from Uranus to Venus of some things has to shift. and we need to make sure that it shifts. How do we work together? So when working with two planets in opposition, they have a shared commonality, but their approaches are different, right? Taurus is maybe going to approach from a very physical, tactile perspective, and strategic, really earth-based, where Scorpio and Taurus is a little bit more practical, where Scorpio is going to be coming from an emotional state, right? From the state of, well, how do I feel? Versus Taurus is, how do I want this to be, to look, to feel? Like it, to feel from a like hands-on perspective, like sensory perspective. So interesting day. It's like lots of relational dynamics on Wednesday. It's actually kind of exciting too for those who are looking to shake things up in their relationships. And again, this doesn't have to be personal relationships. This also can be business and friendships and family relationships. You just have to see how this shows up for you in your life. But there's this need for to approach something a little differently. And it might take a little bit of nudging to get outside the comfort zone, right? Fixed signs love their comfort zone. Whereas we talked about cardinal signs like Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, they'll initiate change. They might not see it all the way through. That's where they need to like partner with people who have fixed energy, because they make the best, like, hey, I start this, will you come in and help me finish it? From a business perspective, or, when you're partnering with people, like it's really nice to have that dynamic. So that is Wednesday the 20th. And so we move into the 21st, which is a Thursday. Couple big things. One, happy winter solstice, right? So this is when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn and we start winter in the northern hemisphere. We start a new season. When the sun is in Capricorn, it's initiating a shift into the cold, like especially if we're in the northern hemisphere, specifically like the cold, the winter, let's hibernate. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, so there is a level of isolation and slowing down and having patience. It's going much slower. It's taking the baby steps. It's not rushing. It's not, it's starting something, but it's starting something that we want to last a long time. And with Capricorn energy, we're just starting this a little bit more of an inward journey. When we experience winter, it's more about cozying up, and we often stay in more, right? So when I say isolation, I don't mean like you have to be by yourself. You just might not be as social. Capricorn is more introverted energy. It's not as extroverted energy. And so this is the season of hibernation, right? It's really about taking the time and slowly getting things done and coming up with a process or a plan to achieve the goals that you have, but doing it in a really methodical way. Which is the 21st really has a lot of Saturnian flavor because the sun moving into a Saturn-ruled sign, but also we have Mercury retrograding in Capricorn, making a sextile, which is a really stimulating aspect with Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, which is in the sign of Pisces. And so there is a very much like a Saturnian feel to Thursday. You might feel like there's a little bit of responsibility on your shoulders, or you're getting things done. Maybe you're preparing for the holidays and traveling. If you are traveling during Mercury retrograde and on this day or around this day, because we're in Mercury retrograde, there might be some delays. And Saturn really says, hey, have patience. If you're dealing with other people, have patience. The holidays can be difficult times for people. if you are feeling very lonely during this holiday season, just this isn't forever. It's only temporary, right? This can be a really tough time of year for many people. Being around family or being alone, organizing everything or having nothing to do. It can take a really big strain on our mental and emotional well-being. So really, if you feel, especially with Mercury, which rules our mental state, if you feel any of this energy melancholy, because Saturn can be melancholic, same thing with Capricorn, tends to be on the more depressive side than anxious side. If you feel this energy, have things that you can do for you. If it's meditation, if it's yoga, if it's walking, if it's connecting with certain people, if it's meeting with a therapist or counselor or a coach, just make sure you have the structures set up in place to navigate this. And just remember, I really get this feeling to say, this is only temporary. It's a tiny blip in the grand scheme of things, and it won't always be this way. Okay, so I'm just sending a lot of love out there to you. We will have the moon switching from Aries to Taurus, which will happen in the evening. And so we go from this like rushing around Aries energy to this like, oh, let's settle. Let's find peace and comfort with the Taurus moon. On Friday, we'll have the moon all day in the sign of Taurus. So this is a really comfy, cozy kind of energy. We also have the sun, who had just moved in to Capricorn, making an alignment, coming together with Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. So again, a lot of Mercury themes this week, because he's kind of going back through those early signs of Capricorn. And since the sun is just moving in there, he's going to align with that. So we're at this kind of halfway point in the cycle of Mercury retrograde and the moon in Taurus. And this is really earlier in the day because we will have Mercury shifting the next day into later that evening into the next day, depending on your time zone, into Sag. So we're kind of finishing up this Mercury retrograde piece in Capricorn early that day. So it is, a day to just slow down, find comfort, find peace, be around people and places that really make you feel safe, right? And if you're by yourself, doing things that feel really comforting to your soul. Okay. Taurus energy. Those are my people. If you have strong Taurus placements, the good places to eat. You love food. You love good drink. Sometimes can go a little overboard. Love your sugar. Okay. Taurus energy ruled by Venus. They tend to love sweet things. So maybe you're just, maybe baking, getting ready, doing things, making those cookies for Santa. If that's kind of what you're feeling called to do, maybe that's a good day to do it. Just a good day to surround yourself and be in an environment that feels stable, right? And if stability isn't a word that is very common around the holidays for you, find ways to feel grounded and stable within yourself. Okay. Saturday, the 23rd, moon is in Taurus for most of the day and will enter into Gemini very early in the morning, in the middle of the night. I have these random things popping up on my video, which they're thumbs up, which is interesting. But it's Mercury retrograde. That's not a surprise. Random things are happening. I like it. Obviously, Spirit loves it too. So thumbs up to that. Anyways, moving forward, not getting distracted. So kind of like a day just to, again, on Saturday the 23rd, it's Taurus moon day. So again, same kind of themes as Friday. And then Sunday, the 24th, the moon will be in Gemini. So it's going to be a little bit more social. Air signs are more extroverted social energy, just like fire signs, but from an extroverted standpoint. But air signs like Gemini are very socially inclined. So you might have more of a desire to connect with people. On the 24th, we also have the Sun in Capricorn making a sextile to Saturn in Pisces. So again, might feel like there's a lot going on, a lot of things to do, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things you need to get done. Enjoy the day and embrace the changes. It is a Mercury retrograde, as I mentioned before. You might have plans that shift and change. Go with the flow, okay? Go with the flow. It's going to happen. And just, if you can, talk to someone. Connect. Gemini energy is ruled by Mercury, so it's all about communication. It's also about thinking, so watch your thoughts. And if you need to redirect your mindset into a more positive shift, it takes practice. And that's Saturn saying, have patience with yourself. You'll get there. Okay, that is the week ahead. I wish you all happy holidays, and I will see you all next week.